Hello everyone, my name is Naomi, aka Nifty Nomi, and welcome to my channel, Be That Business. I'm a Canadian bookkeeper and new business educator, and I help entrepreneurs look under the hood to see how it all works. I'm fighting the good fight against double work and against giving CRA more money than you have to. I've been putting out useful and interesting newsletters twice a month on the 14th and 29th. If you prefer to read your newsletters, check out my sign-up link in the description below. And there's also a link to a transcript of today's newsletter. On to today's newsletter. Hello and welcome to May 30th, 2024. In today's newsletter, what's due at the end of May, my 3 favorite resources for May, and what due dates are coming up in June. What's due at the end of May? If you are incorporated and you owed corporate income tax for your previous fiscal year, then you are required to pay installments for next year on the last day of every month. May 31st is the due date for the May corporate tax installment. Though there are no other standard items due at the end of this month, be aware that if your sales tax filing is monthly, April's GST/HST filing and remittance is due on May 31st. If your sales tax quarterly filing is on a different schedule because of a corporate fiscal year end date that is not standard, the GST/HST for a quarter, February to April, would be due May 31st. Also, if your corporate fiscal year end is November, your corporate tax return is due 6 months after your fiscal year end in May. If your corporate year end is March, the income tax payable is actually payable 2 or 3 months after the fiscal year end, either due end of May or end of June, depending on your corporation. Check in with your accountant to find out more about your corporate tax due dates specific to your corporation. On to my 3 favorite resources for May. Resource number 1, Balance Sheet Ratios Infographic. Continuing on my theme of reading your financials, I found this infographic from Brian Feroldi on how to analyze a balance sheet quickly. It offers 4 ratios that help ascertain if a business is fragile, robust, or, as he terms it, anti-fragile. Resource number 2, Goblin Tools. Break down a big task into a to-do list. Estimate how long a task is probably going to take. Compile your brain dump into a list of tasks. Goblin Tools offers a collection of small, simple, single-task tools using AI to help increase your productivity and is also pretty fun to play with. Resource number 3, physically block out phone distractions. Brick is a physical device that enables you to keep the tools but block out the distractions from your phone. Whereas other solutions are easy to disable, such as a timer app, Brick puts a physical barrier between you and the ability to unlock the distraction. This product is not business specific, but as an entrepreneur, I find I have so many goals and ideas I want to focus on, and limiting my distractions is one way to get me there. What resources have you found that have helped you to start, run, or grow your business? Feature it and a call out to your business in our next resources newsletter. What due dates are coming up in June? Now's the time to prep your June calendar. Hashtag Be That Business that is organized. Here are some June due dates that might affect your business. Side note, June 15th falls on a Saturday this year, and June 30th falls on a Sunday this year, and July 1st is a public holiday. With CRA, any due date that falls on a weekend or public holiday is then bumped to the next business day. So anything due on June 15th was technically going to be due on June 17th, and anything due on June 30th for CRA is technically going to be due on July 2nd. I do have a link to CRA's website on due dates, weekends, and holidays in the description below. And for each of the items I discuss, I'll also have a link in the description below to more information. If you have employees, June 15th is the due date for your payroll source deductions relating to May's payroll. And again, in 2024, June 15th is a Saturday, so technically due June 17th this year. If your GST/HST filing is annual and you are self-employed, then your due date to file your annual HST is June 15th, but your due date to pay was April 30th. If you have employees, then you are likely registered for Provincial Workplace Insurance, WSIB or WCB. WCB in some provinces is due monthly and on the 15th. In Ontario, WSIB is due quarterly, and the premiums on earnings from April to June won't be due until July 31st. Even though the payment deadline for your personal taxes was April 30th, if you are self-employed, your personal income tax return is due to be filed by June 15th. And again, in 2024, that would be due June 17th because of the weekend. If you are payable by $3,000 or more on your personal income taxes for 2022 and also 2023, CRA requires that you pay installments on your 2024 personal income taxes. If you fall into this category, June 15th is your second personal income tax installment due date. The corporate tax return, the T2, is due 6 months after the fiscal year end. If your fiscal year end is the calendar December 31st, then the corporation's tax return is due June 30th. But these do take time to prepare. If you haven't reached out to your accountant yet, then make this a priority right away. Also due 6 months after year end are the T5018s. If your business is involved in construction activities and makes payments to subcontractors for construction services, you will need to file T5018's Statement of Contract Payments for each of your contractors each year. You can report the payments on a calendar year basis or based on your fiscal year end. These are due 6 months after the reporting period you have chosen, either your fiscal year end or the calendar year end. If that period ends December 31st, then the 2023 T5018s would be due June 30th, 2024. If you are incorporated and you owed corporate income tax for your previous fiscal year, then you are required to pay installments for next year on the last day of every month. June 30th is the due date for the June corporate tax installment. Though there are no other standard items due at the end of this month, be aware that if your sales tax filing is monthly, May's GST/HST filing and remittance is due on June 30th. If your sales tax quarterly filing is on a different schedule because of a corporate fiscal year end date that is not standard, the GST/HST for a quarter March to May would be due June 30th. Also, if your corporate fiscal year end is December, your corporate tax return is due 6 months after your fiscal year end, so end of June. If your corporate year end is April, the income tax payable is payable 2 or 3 months after the fiscal year end, either due end of June or end of July, depending on your corporation. Check in with your accountant to find out more about your corporate tax due dates specific to your corporation. If you found this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Instagram at BeThatBusiness. You can tweet at me, X at me. I'm at NiftyNomi, and I'm also at NiftyNomi on Twitch and TikTok. And you can find resources and courses about running a Canadian business on my website, naomiwilkins.ca. The video today was recorded in beautiful Gananoque, Ontario. Thanks for watching, and get out there and be that business that thrives.